Fear isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the quiet tension that keeps you from resting, the need to control what was never yours to hold. But what if fear wasn't something to escape? What if it was something to transform? There are moments in life when fear becomes the loudest voice in the room. It whispers before you fall asleep. It wakes you before the morning light. It hides behind every what if, every plan, every imagined future that never arrives. Fear is subtle. It rarely screams. It tightens, contracts, and keeps you in motion without peace. It makes you believe that safety lies in control, that the more you plan, the less you'll lose. But deep down, you know the truth. No amount of control ever brings peace. The real safety you seek isn't outside of you. It's in the energy you bring to this moment. And when that energy shifts from fear to faith, everything around you begins to shift with it. We often think of fear as the opposite of courage. But in truth, fear is the absence of trust. It's the mind's attempt to survive without surrendering. When you live in fear, you live in anticipation, always preparing for something that hasn't yet happened. The body tenses. The breath shortens. The present moment slips away. You're not living, you're rehearsing danger. Faith, on the other hand, isn't blind optimism. It's the quiet knowing that life supports you, even when you can't yet see how. It's the gentle whisper that says, I don't know what's coming next, but I trust that I'll be guided through it. Faith doesn't eliminate uncertainty. It transforms your relationship with it. Where fear sees threat, faith sees possibility. Where fear contracts, faith opens. Where fear controls, faith allows. Louise Hay often said, the point of power is always in the present moment. And yet, fear pulls you away from that point of power. It keeps you locked in the illusion of a future you cannot control. When you bring your awareness back here now, you begin to dissolve fear's foundation. Because fear can only survive in imagination. It cannot live in presence. Take a moment. Notice your breath. Notice the way your shoulders fall when you remember that this exact second is safe. In this breath, you are okay. Right here, you are supported. You may not have all the answers, but you have this breath. You have this stillness. And that is where faith begins to grow. Fear often wears the mask of responsibility. Tells you that worrying means you care. That if you stop worrying, things will fall apart. But worry doesn't prevent problems. It only prevents peace. The energy you bring to your challenges determines how you meet them. Worry drains your creativity. Trust opens it. Fear tightens the body. Trust relaxes it. Fear isolates. Trust connects. When you move into trust, life begins to respond in kind. Because trust is not passive, it's magnetic. It signals to the universe that you're ready to co-create, not control. Perhaps you've noticed how your life seems to reflect the tone of your thoughts. When you move through the day expecting resistance, everything feels heavier. But when you start from trust, when you silently say, I am safe, I am guided, I am exactly where I need to be, the energy of your world rearranges itself. This is not coincidence. It's resonance. Your inner state is the blueprint for what life mirrors back to you. Louise Hay would often remind her students, life loves you. And though those words sound simple, they hold a radical truth. When you live as if life loves you, you stop defending yourself against it. You begin to relax into the flow that was always there. Of course, fear doesn't disappear overnight. It's an old teacher. It's been with you for years, sometimes since childhood. It was there to protect you once, to keep you safe when you didn't yet know your own strength. So when fear arises, don't make it an enemy. Don't fight it, listen to it. Ask it, what are you trying to show me? And more often than not, it will whisper, "I'm afraid of losing control," or "I'm afraid I won't be enough." That's your opportunity to respond with love. To say, "I understand, but I don't need to control everything anymore. I can trust life to meet me halfway." Because that's what faith really is. Not the absence of fear, but the willingness to meet fear with love. There is a sacred shift that happens when you start to view fear as energy, not identity. When you realize that fear isn't who you are. It's just an emotional signal asking to be transformed. You don't need to suppress it. You just need to let it move through you without resistance. Every wave of fear that passes through your body is an opportunity to release an old vibration and anchor yourself more deeply in trust. The more you practice this, the more you notice that peace is not something you have to earn. It's what remains when you stop fighting with what is. Think of faith as the energy of surrender, not giving up, but giving over. You surrender the need to know how everything will unfold. And in that surrender, you open the space for grace to enter. You open the channel through which solutions, the ones you couldn't think your way into, begin to flow. Fear believes it must figure everything out. Faith knows it will be shown. And somewhere deep within you, you already know this. Because even in your hardest moments, some part of you kept going. Something inside you trusted, maybe just a little, that there was light on the other side. That part of you is faith. It's not something you have to acquire. It's something you have to remember. When you begin to shift from fear to faith, the changes are subtle at first. You notice you're not reacting as quickly. You pause before speaking. You breathe before worrying. You start to see every obstacle not as punishment, but as practice. Practice in choosing peace when fear tempts you to panic. And slowly the nervous system learns a new pattern. The body begins to associate safety with presence, not control. That's when miracles happen. Not the grand cinematic kind, but the quiet ones. A day without anxiety. A conversation that brings unexpected clarity. A sudden sense of calm when you used to spiral. These moments are signs. They're proof that trust is rewriting your vibration. That your energy is becoming softer, stronger, more aligned. In spiritual psychology, this shift is called transmutation. The process of changing one form of energy into another. Fear and faith are made of the same raw material, focus. Fear focuses on what might go wrong. Faith focuses on what could go right. Both require imagination. Both require belief. But only one opens your heart. So when you feel fear rising, try this. Pause, breathe, and gently ask yourself, what would faith say right now? Maybe it would say, "You are safe. You've been through worse and made it. You are guided, even when you can't see the path." And if you repeat that often enough, it becomes your new inner dialogue, a bridge that carries you from panic to peace. At its deepest level, faith is an act of remembering your connection to something larger than the mind, a wisdom that doesn't need proof, only permission. Life has always been unfolding with intelligence far greater than your fear could ever understand. And every time you choose to trust that, you align yourself with that intelligence. You stop being the one trying to control the river, and instead you become the current itself, flowing, aware, alive. When you start to observe your fear without judgment, something powerful begins to happen. You realize that fear is not an enemy. It's an invitation. It's the part of you that still believes it's separate from life, separate from love, separate from the infinite intelligence that beats your heart and moves the stars. Fear is the moment you forget that you are supported. And faith is the remembering. The human mind is built to protect, not to trust. It measures, calculates, compares, it wants evidence before surrender. But the heart speaks a different language. It doesn't ask for proof. It asks for openness. Faith lives in the body, not in the head. You can feel it in the breath that deepens when you stop fighting your emotions. You can feel it in your chest when you whisper, "I don't need to know how this ends. I just need to trust that I'll be okay." This is not spiritual fantasy. It's nervous system alchemy. Each time you choose calm over panic, you're teaching your body that peace is safe again. You're retraining your mind to see possibility where it once saw danger. You're changing the chemistry of your own experience. Louise Hay often said, "Every thought we think is creating our future," and that includes thoughts born out of fear. When we dwell on worst-case scenarios, we're not just imagining them, we're feeding them energy. We're planting seeds of anxiety in the soil of our subconscious. But when we redirect that same energy toward trust, we plant different seeds. Seeds of peace, guidance, and alignment. Fear and faith are not opposites. They are choices for where to focus your creative power. The universe doesn't respond to your words. It responds to your vibration. And your vibration follows the tone of your thoughts. So when you speak words of trust, "I am supported. Life is unfolding for my good," you begin to recalibrate your inner frequency. Slowly, gently, your energy begins to harmonize with that truth. If you listen closely, you'll notice that fear and worry always come with a physical signal. A knot in the stomach, a tightness in the chest, a restlessness that won't let you be still. That's not failure. That's awareness. It's your body's way of saying, "Something in me doesn't feel safe." So before you rush to fix the fear, pause. Place a hand over your heart. Breathe deeply. And with every exhale, remind yourself, "I am safe in this moment. It's okay to let go. I choose peace instead of control." This isn't about pretending that fear doesn't exist. It's about bringing love to the part of you that's afraid. Because love dissolves what fear creates. Not by force, but by recognition. Think of fear as a child who's been standing alone in the dark for too long. What it needs isn't logic, it needs presence. It needs to be held. That's what self-compassion really is. It's the act of turning toward your own fear with warmth. And that's how you transmute it. When you meet fear with judgment, it grows louder. When you meet it with love, it begins to soften. That's why affirmations are so powerful. Not because they're magic words, but because they are acts of reparenting your own mind. When you say, "I am safe," you're telling the fearful parts of yourself, "You don't have to protect me anymore. I know how to care for myself now." Each repetition is a thread of trust being rewoven inside you. Trust doesn't come from guarantees. It comes from experience, from all the times you've been afraid and still made it through. Think about it. You've survived every fear you've ever felt. Every single one. And not only survived, you've grown through them. Fear has always been your shadow teacher, pointing toward the very places that needed more love, more patience, more faith. When you start to see it that way, your relationship with fear transforms. It's no longer an obstacle. It's a signal. It shows you where you've forgotten your own light. The moment you stop resisting what you feel, you begin to align with life as it is, not as you think it should be. And that alignment is faith in motion. Louise Hay taught that healing happens when we stop rejecting the present moment. Because the present moment is never the problem. Our resistance to it is. When you soften your resistance, the energy that was stuck begins to flow again. And in that flow, wisdom emerges. You start to notice the synchronicities. The right person calls. The answer appears in a sentence you weren't even paying attention to. The weight in your chest lightens and suddenly the world feels a little softer. That's not coincidence. That's alignment. That's faith taking physical form. Fear is rooted in the illusion of separation, the belief that you are alone in your struggle. But the moment you remember your connection to life, to others, to the quiet intelligence within you, that illusion begins to dissolve. Faith reconnects you to that wholeness. It reminds you that even when everything feels uncertain, you are still part of something infinitely intelligent. And that intelligence doesn't abandon its own creation. It moves through it. When you begin to live with this awareness, you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" That one question opens the door from fear to faith. It's not about never feeling afraid again. It's about no longer being ruled by it. Fear will still visit. It's part of being human. But now when it knocks, you can open the door and say, "I see you. Thank you for reminding me where I still need trust." And then you can gently invite it to sit beside faith, because both have something to offer. Fear shows you where you've forgotten your strength. Faith shows you that you never lost it. Together, they help you grow into the person you were always meant to be. Not untouched by life, but deeply alive within it. Each time you choose faith, you're not ignoring reality. You're choosing which reality to strengthen. You're saying, "I trust that I am guided. I trust that even in confusion, there's meaning. I trust that life knows what I do not." And in that choice, something miraculous happens. Your energy changes before your circumstances do. And eventually, your circumstances begin to match that new energy. That's how transformation really works. Not from the outside in, but from the inside out. When you begin to live in faith, you stop chasing stability outside of yourself. You realize that peace was never lost. It was only covered by noise. The noise of what if? The noise of doubt, of trying, of control. And when you finally become still enough to listen, you hear what was there all along. The quiet pulse of life saying, "You are safe. You are loved. You are guided." Faith is not something you build. It's something you uncover. It's what remains when you release the need to understand everything. There is a deep wisdom in the moments when you stop fighting your experience. When you allow yourself to sit with the discomfort instead of running from it, you create a space inside you that fear cannot enter. In that space, awareness expands. You begin to see that life isn't against you. It's responding to you. Every delay, every detour, every ending that once felt like a failure was simply redirecting you toward alignment. Faith is the understanding that there is purpose, even when the purpose is still invisible. Louise Hay would say, "All is well. Everything is working out for my highest good." At first, those words may sound like denial, but they're not. They're remembrance. All is well doesn't mean everything feels good. It means everything holds meaning. It means that even in chaos, there's an unseen intelligence guiding the unfolding of your life. And when you choose to align with that belief, you shift from reacting to creating. You stop asking life to prove itself to you, and you begin to meet it halfway. Trusting doesn't mean you'll never doubt again. It means that even when doubt whispers, you don't build your home there. You breathe, you watch the thought pass, and then you gently return to your center, to your breath, to your faith. This is the quiet strength of the awakened heart, the ability to remain open, even when fear tries to close you. Imagine your life as a vast river. You've spent years trying to swim upstream, fighting the current, demanding control. And then one day you stop. You let go. First it feels like surrender. Then it feels like peace. And finally you realize the river was never against you. It was carrying you home all along. That is what faith feels like. A gentle return to the natural rhythm of your soul. When you live in faith, you begin to notice how life starts to meet you with softness. Conversations unfold with ease. People appear when you need them most. Opportunities rise naturally, not because you forced them, but because you aligned with them. The outer world rearranges itself to match your inner peace. And the more you trust this process, the more your heart begins to open. Fear loosens its grip. And what remains is presence. Faith doesn't ask you to escape the human experience. It asks you to see the sacred within it, to understand that the same intelligence that makes flowers bloom beats within your chest. It asks you to remember that you are not alone, and that you never were. Even in your hardest seasons, something inside you has always known how to keep breathing. That knowing, that quiet resilience, is your connection to the infinite. You don't have to find faith. You only have to remember it. So when fear returns, and it will, meet it with gentleness. Don't ask, "How do I get rid of you?" Ask, "What are you here to show me?" Because every moment of fear is a doorway. Behind it lies a deeper trust waiting to be born. Behind it lies the version of you that no longer needs certainty to feel safe. And that's where freedom lives. In time, you'll notice that worry loses its meaning. You'll begin to trust in divine timing, not as a concept, but as a living truth. You'll understand that everything you once tried to control was always unfolding exactly as it needed to. And you'll look back with tenderness, realizing that every anxious thought was just an attempt to protect the part of you that hadn't yet learned to trust. Now that part of you can rest. Now it can breathe. So take this moment, right now, right here, and place your hand over your heart. Whisper softly, "I am safe. I trust the process of life. I release the need to know, and I choose to believe instead." Feel your body respond. Feel the stillness return. Feel how beneath all the noise, you've been held all along. From fear to faith, that's the real journey. Not away from life, but into it. Into its mystery, its rhythm, its truth. And the more you trust it, the more you realize life was never something to survive. It was always something to receive. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to like this video and subscribe for more gentle reminders of your inner power.